So I have in my pocket a piece of paper on which we have a repertory grid that you and I have been cooking up for a while that actually takes us through to the 2020-21 season.
Show it to the camera.
I'll show it to the camera in the confident knowledge that you're not going to be able to read any of the pieces on it, but there it is. Lyrics decade mapped out on one piece of paper, one very low-tech piece of paper.
Yes, and it will change.
It will change. It's only names on a piece of paper. On the other hand, I think, given that we do only 8 operas this season, it actually does provide us with a very useful tool to have an overview of the repertory evolution. Because over a 10-year period, we need to cover the right breadth of repertoire. We need to ensure that we have enough Italian, French, German, Russian, American, British repertoire. I think planning opera seasons is one of the favorite parts of my job.
I quite agree.
Yeah, I love it. I've been dreaming of fantasy opera seasons since I was 13 or 14, and the fact that I now get to do it for real is a huge thrill. It's a long story, Andrew, isn't it, really? You and I talk about priority pieces.
Usually over an extended period, not just, you can't hope to do everything you want to do, as it were, in one season. So you have a number of seasons where you try to put everything, or an example of everything that from different styles and so on, and, you know, our favorite pieces.
Yes, yes. And it is rightly very subjective. It's something that we have to feel passionate about.
Yes.
The right combination of operas, the right range of operas, variety.
And sometimes putting an opera in because we have a particular style that we want to showcase, and this is a good vehicle for them. So there are many factors in choosing.
And we think over a 10-year period. We actually have a rolling 10-year repertory plan, which I think is important because Lyric has been here for many years. We plan to be here for many more years.
Very Soviet sounding, isn't it?
A 10-year plan, yes. We have a large number of subscribers, and we have many people in our audience who only see opera here at Lyric or only in Chicago. And therefore we have a responsibility to provide people with a real breadth and range and variety, a balanced diet.
Right, and also with new looks at familiar repertoire.
Yes.
And then bringing to the public repertoire that's not necessarily particularly well known. But a piece like Rusalka, for instance, Dvorak, which we've never done here and we're doing this season, is a perfect example of great music that somehow, and great opera that somehow slipped through the net here.
Exactly. And a piece like La Clemenza di Tito that we're also doing this season, we haven't done for more than a decade. And I think you conducted it. It was your debut at Lyric, wasn't it?
It was 1989. It was the year my son was born,
right.
So that's 23 years ago.
Yes. and although it is a piece that is performed around the world, the fact that it hasn't been performed here in Chicago or here at Lyric since 1989 makes it truly a rarity for our audiences.
That's right, and actually it wasn't very good production when we did it then either, so
right.
this will be,
this will be a really good production, yeah. And obviously you have a very long association with Lyric, happily, and you will have an ongoing long association with Lyric. So one of my priorities is to find works that you are passionate to conduct, because as our music director, it's very important that you feel that your relationship with our organization is meaningful and artistically satisfying and exciting for you.
Yeah, well, and again, for me, personally, it's the combination of pieces that I've done that I feel, you know, very comfortable with and want to continue to explore, and also, you know, pieces that are new for me. One of the things about coming to the Opera House here in 2000, when I was 55, I guess, I'd been at Glyndebourne for many years, but there was certain repertoire that I knew very well, which included Mozart and Strauss and Janacek, but a lot of the core repertoire like Wagner and Verdi and Puccini, I'd not done, so that's been exciting for me too.
Yes, and we need to find the right balance between tried and tested, best-loved masterpieces with rarer repertory, with new work. New work is a very important part of the responsibility of every major opera company.
And we've got a very exciting world premiere coming up in a
which
couple
you're
of seasons.
conducting, Bel Canto, by Jimmy Lopez. Of course, we also have to take into account some practical business considerations. The cost of producing Meistersinger is far greater than the cost of producing La Bohème. And so within each season, we have to find the right balance between epics and works that are more contained. The box office potential of works differs from opera to opera. And again, we have to find the right mix, the right financial mix, the right technical mix. We need to ensure, above all, that the range of operas in a particular season feels exciting to you and me.
That's right, because it ultimately is a subjective thing, and we started talking about it with that. And,
Yes.
and I think that is what will give seasons their character.
The mix has to be right. It has to be right both from an objective point of view, but also we have to be thrilled by it. We have to be on the edge of our seats, waiting to experience the next lyric season.
Yes.